In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, I banish. Did I keep getting jump scared? No. Do I need another light on? Yes. Someone's walking around upstairs and it jump scared me. The thing that scared me the most was that it had no eyes, just empty black sockets. Hello everybody, and welcome back. Oh, wait, I forgot my intro. Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I am 𝘧𝘳𝘪𝘦. Isn't it so creepy how you can, like, see through the hand? So way back in May, which does not feel like it was months ago, but it's August, I posted a video reading some of the original creepypastas. In that video, we covered Jeff the Killer and something else. What did we read? 𝘕𝘓𝘓𝘓. 𝘕𝘓𝘓𝘓? I don't know how you say it. Is this a joke? So I've been meaning actually to make a follow-up video or like maybe turn this into a series. And I didn't realize how much time had passed until I got a comment on that video. So here we are with more creepypastas, baby boy. Just know that these stories aren't that bad. They're all made up, and we're all just here for good fun time. So everybody cuddle in, grab a snack, and let's just dive right in with the first creepypasta. Okay, so the first one we're gonna be starting with is Eyeless Jack. Maybe we could turn this off? Ooh. How do we feel about that? Posted January 5th, 2013. Hello, my name is Mitch. I'm here to tell you guys about an experience I had. I don't know if it was paranormal or whatever stupid words people use to describe supernatural phenomena, but after that thing visited me, I believe in that paranormal trash now. A week after I moved in with my brother Edwin, after my house was foreclosed, I finished unpacking. Edwin liked the idea of me moving in since we had not seen each other for 10 years, so I was excited, too. I soon fell asleep after I moved in. After that first week, I heard rustling noises coming from outside at about 1 in the morning. I thought it was a raccoon, so I ignored it and tried to fall asleep. The next morning, I told Edwin about it, and he agreed. The next night, however, I thought I heard my window opening and a loud thump, as if someone entered my room. I darted up and looked around my room, but I saw nothing. The next morning, Edwin dropped his coffee cup when he saw me. He held up a nearby mirror, and I saw it. I had a large gash in my left cheek. Cheek, that is. After I was rushed to the hospital, the doctor told me that I must have been sleepwalking, but then he showed me something that made my blood turn cold. He lifted up my shirt to reveal a sewn-up incision where my kidneys were. I stared into his eyes, mine widening. You somehow lost your left kidney last night, my doctor told me. We don't know how, though. Sorry, Mitch. That would be really unfortunate waking up with, your kidney's gone. The next night was my breaking point. After midnight, I woke up to see a truly horrifying sight. I was staring face to face with a creature with a black hoodie and dark blue mask, with no nose or mouth staring down at me. The thing that scared me the most was that it had no eyes, just empty black sockets. The creature also has some black substance dripping from its sockets. I grabbed a camera from the nearby mantel and took a picture. Immediately after taking the shot, the creature lunged at me and tried to claw open my chest to get to my lungs. I stopped it by kicking it in the face. As soon as I ran out of my room, I grabbed my wallet. I would need the money. Why? I ran out of my brother's house into the night. I eventually ended up in the woods near Edwin's house and tripped on a rock. I fell unconscious and woke up in the hospital. My doctor, the same one who treated me before, entered the room. I have good news and bad news, Mitch. My doctor started. The good news is that you had minor injuries, and your parents are going to pick you up. I sighed with relief. The bad news is that your brother has been killed by some thing. Sorry. My parents took me back to Edwin's house to collect my remaining belongings, which I did. Upon entering my room, I was scared but remained calm. I grabbed my camera and then stopped dead in my tracks. In the hallway leading to my room, I saw Edwin's body and something small lying next to it. I retrieved it up and entered my parents' car, not mentioning Edwin's corpse. I looked at the thing I had picked up and nearly vomited. I was holding my stolen half-eaten kidney with some black substance on it. What? I'm a little bit confused. How did the doctor know about his brother's body? Why was the doctor so casual about him losing his kidneys? And why was Edwin's corpse left? Wouldn't, like, police have been involved, taken away the body? How did the doctor know? And why was his kidney with Edwin? I have a lot of questions. On to the next one. So this next one is called Dead Bart, and it was first posted on June 13th, 2010. This was written by K.I. Simpson. You know how Fox has a weird way of counting Simpsons episodes? Wow! You know how Fox has a weird way of counting Simpsons episodes? They refuse to count a couple of them, making the amount of episodes inconsistent. The reason for this is a lost episode from season 1. Finding details about this missing episode is difficult. No one who was working on the show at that time likes to talk about it. From what has been pieced together, the lost episode was written entirely by Matt Groening. I don't know if that's how you say his last name. Excuse me. During production of the first season, Matt started to act strangely. He was very quiet, seemed nervous and morbid. Mentioning this to anyone who was present results in them getting very angry and forbidding you to ever mention it to Matt. The episode's production number was 7G44. The title was Dead Bart. In addition to getting angry, asking anyone who was on the show about this will cause them to do everything they can to stop you from directly communicating with Matt Groening. At a fan event, I managed to follow him after he spoke to the crowd and eventually had a chance to talk to him alone as he was leaving the building. He didn't seem upset that I had followed him, probably expected a typical encounter with an obsessive fan. When I mentioned the lost episode though, all color drained from his face and he started trembling. When I asked him if he could tell me any details, he sounded like he was on the verge of tears. It's kind of scary. He grabbed a piece of paper, wrote something on it, and handed it to me. He begged me to never mention the episode again. The piece of paper had a website address on it. I would rather not say what it was, for reasons that you'll see in a second. I entered the address into my browser, and I came to a site that was completely black, except for a line of yellow text, a download link. I clicked on it, and a file started downloading. Once the file was downloaded, my computer went crazy. It was the worst virus I had ever seen. Thanks, Matt Groening. You gave them a freaking virus. System restore didn't work. The entire computer had to be rebooted. Before doing this, though, I copied the file onto a CD. I tried to open it on my now empty computer, and, as I suspected, there was an episode of The Simpsons on it. The episode started off like any other episode, but had very poor quality animation. If you've seen the original animation for Some Enchanted Evening, it was similar, but less stable. The first act was fairly normal, but the way the characters acted was a little off. Homer seemed angrier, Marge seemed depressed, Lisa seemed anxious, Bart seemed to have genuine anger and hatred for his parents. The episode was about the Simpsons going on a plane trip. Near the end of the first act, the plane was taking off. Bart was fooling around, as you'd expect. However, as the plane was about 50 feet off the ground, Bart broke a window on the plane and was sucked out. At the beginning of the series, Matt had an idea that the animated style of the Simpsons... At the beginning of the series, Matt had an idea that the animated style of the Simpsons world represented life and that death turned things more realistic. This was used in this episode. The picture of Bart's corpse was barely recognizable. They took full advantage of it not having to move and made an almost photorealistic drawing of his dead body. Act 1 ended with the shot of Bart's corpse. When Act 2 started, Homer, Marge, and Lisa were sitting at their table crying. The crying went on and on. It got more pained and sounded more realistic, better acting than you would think possible. The animation started to decay even more as they cried, and you could hear murmuring in the background. This crying went on for all of Act 2. Act 3 opened with a title card saying 1 year had passed. Homer, Marge, and Lisa were skeletally thin and still sitting at the table. There was no sign of Maggie or the pets. They decided to visit Bart's grave. Springfield was completely deserted, and as they walked to the cemetery, the houses became more and more decrepit. They all looked abandoned. When they got to the grave, Bart's body was lying in front of his tombstone, looking just like it did at the end of Act 1. The family started crying again. Eventually they stopped and just stared at Bart's body. The camera zoomed in on Homer's face. According to summaries, Homer tells a joke at this part, but it isn't audible in the version I saw. You can't tell what Homer is saying. The view zoomed out as the episode came to a close. The tombstones in the background had the names of every Simpsons guest star on them. Some that no one had heard of in 1989. Some that hadn't even been on the show yet. All of them had death dates on them. For guests who died since, like Michael Jackson and George Harrison, the dates were when they would die. You can try to use the tombstones to predict the death of living Simpsons guest stars, but there's something odd about most of the ones that haven't died yet. All of their deaths are listed as the same date. You know what? It do be a little bit freaky. That one was a little scary, I'm not gonna lie. Did I keep getting jump scared? No. Do I need another light on? Yes. You know what? I'm not a baby. I'm just... So this one is called suicidemouse.avi. I don't know, it's a file type, I've never pronounced it as avi. This was written on August 8th, 2010. So, do any of you remember those Mickey Mouse cartoons from the 1930s? The ones that were just put out on DVD a few years ago? Well, I hear there is one that was unreleased to even the most avid classic Disney fans. Someone's walking around upstairs and it jump scared me. According to sources, it's nothing special. It's just a continuous loop, like Flintstones, of Mickey walking past 6 buildings that goes on for 2 or 3 minutes before fading out. Unlike the cutesy tunes put in, though, the song on this cartoon was not a song at all, just a constant banging on a piano for 1.5 minutes before going to white noise for the remainder of the film. It wasn't the jolly old Mickey we've come to love either. Mickey wasn't dancing, not even smiling. Just kind of walking as if you or I were walking with a normal facial expression, but for some reason his head tilted side to side as he kept this dismal look. Up until a year or 2 ago, everyone believed that after it cut to black and that was it. When 𝘠𝘕𝘓 Moulton was reviewing the cartoon to be put on the complete series, he decided it was too junk to be on the DVD, but wanted to have a digital copy due to the fact that it was a creation of Walt. When he had a digitized version up on his computer to look at the file, he noticed something. The cartoon was actually 9 minutes and 4 seconds long. This is what my source emailed to me in full. He is a personal assistant of one of the higher executives at Disney and an acquaintance of Mr. Moulton himself. After it cut to black, it stayed like that until the 6th minute before going back into Mickey walking. The sound was different this time. It was a murmur. It wasn't a language, but more like a gurgled cry. As the noise got more indistinguishable and loud over the next minute, the picture began to get weird. The sidewalk started to go in directions that seemed impossible based on the physics of Mickey's walking, and the dismal face of the mouse was slowly curling into a smirk. On the 7th minute, the murmur turned into a blood-curdling scream, the kind of scream painful to hear, and the picture was getting more obscure. Colors were happening that shouldn't have been possible at the time. Mickey's face began to fall apart. His eyes rolled on the bottom of his chin like 2 marbles in a fishbowl, and his curled smile was pointing upward on the left side of his face. The buildings became rubble floating in mid-air, and the sidewalk was impossibly navigating in warped directions, a few seeming inconceivable with what we, as humans, know about direction. Moulton got disturbed and left the room, sending an employee to finish the video and take notes of everything happening up until the last second, and afterward immediately store the disc of the cartoon into the vault. This distorted screaming lasted until 8 minutes and a few seconds in, and then it abruptly cuts to the Mickey Mouse face at the credits of the end of every video with what sounded like a broken music box playing in the background. This happened for about 30 seconds, and whatever was in that remaining 30 seconds, I haven't been able to get a sliver of information about. I don't like this. From a security guard working under me who was making rounds outside that room, I was told after the last frame, the employee stumbled out of the room with pale skin saying, "Real suffering is not known," 7 times before speedily taking the guard's pistol and offing himself on the spot. The last thing I could get out of 𝘠𝘕𝘓 Moulton was that the last frame was a piece of Russian text that roughly said, "The sights of hell bring its viewers back in." As far as I know, no one else has seen it, but there have been dozens of attempts at getting the file on rapid share by employees inside the studios, all of whom have been promptly terminated of their jobs. Whether it got online or not is up for debate, but if rumors serve me right, it's online somewhere under suicidemouse.avi. If you ever find a copy of the film, I want you to never view it, and to contact me by phone immediately, regardless of the time. When a Disney death is covered up as well as this, it means this has to be something huge. Get back to me. TR. So there's videos of these things. I'm not watching it. Okay? It's 8:47 at night. I'm gonna be in bed not too long from now. I don't want to freak myself out. I don't like scary stuff, not because, like, in the moment it scared me, but when I'm in bed later that night and I'm thinking about it and I'm like, alright, so I think that's where we're gonna end it. This may become a series, this may not. I'm not the biggest fan of creepypastas, but, they're fun to read. It's good to know what I've been missing, context-wise. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, I banish. Like, the bushes are scaring me outside. So thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully I will see you all here next time.